What's the most savage thing you heard a child say to an adult? My 11-year-old sister to one of my friends. Hey, did you know that if you were to eat a bee, you would have more brains in your stomach than in your head? A conversation I overheard between my father and sister. My father, can your little legs carry your big smart mouth? My sister, can your legs carry your big stomach? Little girl was dressed as a fast food worker for Halloween, was being given shit by her aunt for her low choice, and that she needed to aim higher if she wanted to succeed. Whole thing was really demeaning and weird. Girl fired back with, I'm only 12, what's your excuse for being poor then? The other day my 6-year-old daughter was sitting next to me and looked me right in the eye and said, why do you have a mustache? I'm a woman, by the way. I was at a public safety education event for grades 5 and 6 representing EMS. I was showing a kid some of the advanced things we do and her teacher asked, so, would you want to be a paramedic? Her reply, no, I'm going to study business, I want to be able to pay my bills. Still kinda stings. So how long have you been on life support from such a devastating blow? My 8-year-old niece-in-law was talking to my brother and me. Since her aunt was dating my brother, she asked me who my girlfriend was. I said I didn't have one. She said, oh, some people are just supposed to be alone, I guess. Gee, thanks. Double damage. My sister looked at me and said, you look like you're pregnant, but you're not. My sister, who is 10, walked up to me yesterday, looked my dead in the eye and said, Jessie, you're a whore. Completely out of nowhere. Well, now we all know that Jessie is a whore. My ex was a heavy dude. He changed his shirt in front of his 4-year-old nephew, who looked at his belly confused and genuinely asked him if his stomach was his butt. Halloween was coming soon. My sister was talking to one of my 5-year-old cousins. Hey honey, what do you think your mommy should dress like for Halloween? A princess. The kid smiled, she's way too ugly for a princess. Mommy should be a witch. We kept quiet for the rest of the day. Mommy never knew. My son, Asian store, about 6 years ago. Daddy, it smells in here, me shushing him, trying to get him to shut up. He continues, it smells worse than you. Mind you, he has no concept for inside voice. Was chilling at a wedding, the bridesmaids were sitting there with the 5-year-old flower girl. One of the bridesmaids said she wished she would be the next to get married, and the flower girl said, no Becky, you are too ugly to get married. I burst out laughing. Becky, if you're out there, you're definitely not too ugly to get married. I know an absolute ogre who's happily married to a human man. My 7-year-old, Dad, you're going to be 40 soon. That's old. Me, are you going to put me into a retirement home when I turn 40? 7-year-old, no, you'll still have to work 25 more years before you can retire. Oof. Our friend's son said, do you know that my dad cannot satisfy my mother? His father wished to disappear at that moment. Big oof. When I was around 4 or 5, we went to Canada to attend my grandfather's funeral. It was a long time coming, so my grandmother had been handling it well. We stayed up there for about 2 weeks after, since it was summer and we usually spent August up there anyways, but this time as we were pulling out of the driveway to head back south, I leaned out the window and shouted, bye grandma, love you, don't die now. Well, how long did she last past that? She passed away when I was 25, so about 20 more years. I guess I was an inspiration. My little sister, maybe 4 years old tops, in the elevator at my grandparents' retirement home. Little old lady gets off the elevator and looks back at sis. Bye bye sweetheart. Sis. Bye bye scumbucket. Elevator door closes. I was picking up my cousin from daycare, when a little girl super loudly asked, Mom, why does your vulva have a mustache? I was visiting a high-end resort town last month and heard a mother on the sidewalk say, I wish I could retire here, and her son, 8-ish, laughed and said, you're never going to retire. I'm a high school teacher. Once a student came up to me and said, Ms., has anyone told you that you look nice today? I said, aw, thank you. They haven't. She then said, good. I wanted to make sure no one was lying to you. And walked away. My sister was a nanny to 2 little girls, ages 2 and 4. She brought them over to my parents' house and I was just settling in to bake in the sun in my bikini. I opened the deck door to walk outside to greet them, but the door got a little jammed, so I tried to squeeze through, but those freshmen 15 were holding me back a little. Without missing a beat, the 4-year-old turned to her little sister and said in a hushed tone, you see, she can't get through because she's too fat. My friend, when he was about 4, was in trouble, so he had to be in the kitchen with his mom where she could see him. He was bored and wanted to play, but she wouldn't let him, so he looked at her and said in his sweetest voice, "Mom, if you're here, who's running hell?" Still the most savage burn I've seen in a while. My 4-year-old daughter told me at dinner not too long ago, "You look nice. You don't look like yourself." Well, thanks, I guess. 3-year-old to me, are you a boy or a girl? Just because you are a parent, doesn't mean that you will say whatever and I will believe. If you don't know, just keep quiet. 6-year-old boy, neighbor's son, was not pleased when the mother said that there were 9 planets. This one time when I was a kid, me and my family were out eating at a restaurant. Everything was fine until I noticed the table next to us. The man, a very big man, had a huge plate of muscle, and he was scarfing them down like I had rarely seen. Then this man let a serious burp come out. My whole family heard it. That's when I turned around to face the man, looking at him with huge round eyes. He said, "Sorry about that," to which I replied, "Don't worry about it, pig." I was around 8 years old. I don't quite remember his reaction, but my dad sometimes reminds me of this story. Kid at park, who's that you were talking to? My kid, that's my dad. Other kid, oh, he looks more like a granddad. Ego deflates. Giving my 11-year-old nieces advice before they start middle school, telling them how mean other tweens can be and that I'm there for them if they need support. One of them responds, "You must have been a real loser in middle school. Thanks." When I was 22 or so, I was just out of college, living at home, and working as an aide at an elementary school. I was working with a first grader who asked me if I had kids. I said no. He asked if I had a wife. I said no. The kid looks a bit confused and says, "Then who do you live with?" I said that I live with my parents and brothers. Then the kid looks even more confused and goes, "Wait. I thought you were an adult." I know he didn't mean nothing by it, but damn. Kids these days misbehave so much. Didn't you raise me? When I was about 4 or 5, one of my aunts had a miscarriage. Hearing that she had lost her baby, I went up to her and said, "I was in my mom's belly too, but my mom didn't lose me." She started crying. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.